Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're going to be talking about sci-fi. Dune was out this last 2 weeks, so with its kind of prediction or future telling kind of thing, we thought we'd do more sci-fis that have predicted the future today, and we've kind of chosen a wide variety, actually.
I think there'll be some surprises in here for people because the idea that, movies have predicted the future, it's old hat. Everybody's like, oh yeah, well, of course. Well, and, they've made so many of them, they're bound to get some things right. I think we've been fairly selective in, okay, there's some that people will have thought of, but we might be giving you some extra reasons. And then there's probably a couple that will make you scratch your head and go, really? And we're hoping to be able to win you over. Yeah, and importantly, all of you live watchers out there and all of you in the future, get in the comments and let us know what movie you think or what thing happened in a movie years before it happened in real life that you're like, there's no way they could have known. That was a pretty impressive prediction from a sci-fi movie or even something outside sci-fi.
Yeah, yeah, like that's the idea. So, like, we can jump into an example. We'll jump into the Back to the Future 2 because that's probably one of the best examples of this kind of Back to the Future predicting the future in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So like the second Back to the Future, obviously they go forward in time. They actually go to 2015, which is an interesting one.
I know.
But they predict quite a lot, which obviously has become more common nowadays. So one of the creepier ones, which I actually didn't realize for a while, CGI celebrities in the diner. They have Michael Jackson, and they have, I think, is it it's some news
Did they have Billy
broadcaster,
Idol?
um,
Or I can't remember.
or is it Ronald Reagan?
There was Ronald Reagan was there for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yes.
like, that's it's really creepy because we do have that now with, like, a few stars, including Michael Jackson.
Yes. Well, other than, Tupac doing holographic tours long after he's died to deep fakes to essentially everything that AI is currently doing in the recreation. Lest we forget, we did something 3 or 4 years ago on James Dean and his likeness being sold so that James Dean will be back starring in a movie in a theater near you soon,
Yeah.
50 years after his death. So, yeah, it's all come around
Yeah,
in a
it's a bit.
creepy, horrible way.
Yeah, that's it's a bit creepy because yeah, they were it was a diners they were servers in a thing, which was just weird. Yeah, it's also predicted obviously telecommunications, teleconferences, which a few others on our list have also predicted, kind of thing. But Back to the Future one is one of the furthest. Dehydrated food, that's also one of the things that it also predicted, and also VR as well, kind of thing. So it's also, I would point out that the doc also wears a set of glasses which would could be mistaken as like Google Glass or any of
Mm,
those kind of,
that's
like,
true, actually.
wearable kind of items. No hoverboards yet though, Patrick. No hoverboards.
Well, I'm working on it. I am working on it because, well, once somebody, remember Nike a few years ago, or Nike launched the shoe that sold an absolute fortune. His lace up boots, his future boots.
Yeah, the self
Um,
tying
they
shoes.
they yeah, they made a lot of money out of that. And I thought, right, that's it. I'm getting in this act. As it turns out, hoverboard's hard to create. That's why no one's done it yet. But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I have a cat and buttered toast strapped together, and I'm doing anti-gravity as we speak. Anybody who gets that reference will they'll get that reference.
Yeah, like oh, it's just incredible how some of these things have actually, like, yeah, telecommunications and stuff actually is a more regular one, kind of thing. But there is one that I'm creeped out by in a lot of ways, kind of thing. But yeah, do you want to jump onto one of yours, or should we do another one of mine?
Sure. Well, how about we hit a nice obvious one with Knight Rider? I think Knight Rider is one of those perfect examples. Okay, not a movie, a TV show and TV movie, so it counts. Um, I know that a lot of people say this isn't sci-fi, but honestly, it wasn't just pop-up headlights that were cool in the 80s. The tech that this predicted and the tech that Knight Rider suggested we'd have one day made that show essentially sci-fi. Sci-fi crime procedural with amazing chest hair, super cool curls and leather. Um, Paul, if you could throw up Michael Knight, the first guy with a smartwatch and the first guy with Tesla's Summon
Yeah.
installed in his car. Because Knight Rider as the Kit to Knight Industries 2000, Kit the talking car. Cars were talking back then with little pre-records. Um, Now you can talk to a smart device and it will talk back to you in that sense. And when we get to artificial general intelligence, you'll be able to talk to your car. Smartwatches have been around, mobile phones and apps doing things. The vast majority, other than the indestructible nature, if you wanted to actually create Knight Rider right now, you could do pretty much everything they do in the show except for indestructible. Uh, Turbo boost will not make you jump if you're from the flat. That's just physics is not going to allow that. And weirdly, the other thing you couldn't do today is the aforementioned pop-up lights because they're now illegal. So
Oh,
weirdly, I miss pop-up lights so much. But the little gift that's showing there, if and I'm not a huge Tesla fan, but they gave this as a feature. You can quite literally summon your car to come to you, and it will drive to where you are. And let's face it, 9 times out of 10, when good old Hasselhoff was talking to his watch, he was
yeah.
saying, "Kit, come pick me up," which is nobody's ever really brought this up before, but it made like Kit, Michael Knight's dad, it's like, I need a lift. Can you come get me? It's real teenager after a disco. That's always what struck me about it. It's like, no, you know where Kit is. You can walk. Don't be telling your car to come get you. You should have organized a lift with your friends. There you go.
Which is
Tangent.
when was like because when was Knight Rider
Think late 70s, early 80s,
so
essentially.
like that's so it's so a good prediction of kind of like I know that wearable devices was like the dream for a lot of sci-fi things, but like there's summoning the car thing through the watch and stuff like that is a big one.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that's a really nice kind of piece. It also made Knight Rider the new one, the one that had like the Dodge as
Yeah.
the thing. Was it his son or something, or was it? It was a full reboot. Um,
There was, and we've mentioned this before, there's actually been 3.5 attempted reboots through movie and TV shows. There's like Team Knight Rider. It gets very deep, and I could get very nerdy on you. So I promise I won't ruin our episode.
but there is the Dodge one, which I think was like be kind of
Yes.
like early 2000s or like mid
Yeah.
2000s. That
I
was less
think it was around then.
impressive. Was it because less? Was it less impressive because we know that we can do some of that stuff
Well,
now?
so much of it, like having a TV in your car, was impressive in the Kit Michael Knight era. So Knight Rider, it was like cameras and TV and voice command, which is hilarious. And a car being able to put itself in gear and turn its own wheel. Like right now, and this is going to scare a lot of people. There's an awful lot of your cars that you're driving around in that don't have autonomous driving or any of that, but they have the ability to turn their own wheel right now. I'm not going to go into how and why and scare you all, but trust me, your car can actually do a lot more by itself than you think, just because of the way technology's been applied.
Slowly
All
integrated
people are
into it.
really doing is tying a lot of this stuff together. But the fact that in like, 82, 84, whenever it was, voice command to a watch, getting a vehicle to come get you is quite literally possible now. In
In
that order, as in a wearable voice command
yeah,
and a vehicle that can come get you.
in two ways because you could also do it probably through like Lyft or Uber or something like that as well, kind of thing. Not only do you have a car that you own can come get you, you can also just summon a human being driving another car as
It's
well through
true.
your watch.
Can I
Um,
throw in just one small one,
Go for it.
Paul, for any Knight Rider fans out there? And there are going to be one or two somewhere. There was a thing called Super Pursuit Mode that ruined the TV show. That's when I stopped watching it. It like sprung out and became bigger and weirder. I'd like to think that it predicted Fast and the Furious and all of that craze
Okay.
uh, 35 years in advance as well. Unnecessary spoilers and wings.
I love how difficult that they were just like I can't remember which one in Fast and Furious that they go, this crew is a specialist in vehicle warfare, and it was just like, yeah, so is a tank driver. Like, what is your point?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's just like, what, like, wouldn't it have been better to be like, they're experts in urban vehicular like warfare? Would that have been better? Or are we not allowed to say that anymore?
I
Because like
I
it's
think what they should have stuck with was we're really good drivers
yeah,
and we
that's
have
it.
really nice cars.
We're really good
And that
drivers.
would have been impressive enough.
Yeah, we're all stunt drivers.
And
Um,
just note to the Fast and the Furious franchise, consider doing a Knight Rider because you can save yourself a lot of money on actors. And I'm not going to say that your script writing is pretty dodgy anyway. You maybe as well to make the next film just have the cars show up and drive themselves. So
oh,
maybe do a whole lot of just like Vin Diesel's voice in a car. He can do an I am Groot and he
is
can drive like a lumber truck or something, you know?
is that what like Fast and the Furious 19 is going to be? It's just that
Yeah.
all their heads have been like all their brains have been transferred into the cars, and now it's like
Yeah.
we're like, and then what they'll do is they'll do Fast and the Furious 20, the ride to Cybertron, and they'll just merge Transformers and Fast and the Furious together, and then Dom will be actually the Dom Prime, the first ever
Dom,
Prime.
Dom Prime, I like
Yeah,
it. Toretto Prime.
yeah. Oh,
I am
Toretto
Toretto
Prime is so
Prime.
much better. Damn it.
I
Um,
need a Corona to survive. Sorry. Next up.
yeah. So next up is also Demolition Man, which is, if you don't know about
Nice.
this fantastic piece of cinema, this is Wesley Snipes versus Sylvester Stallone, famously introducing the three shells, which is for the bathroom, which has yet to be properly solved in my opinion. I know there's people who have diagrams, and it just looks like they like scratched their bum with three shells, which is disturbing entirely, kind of thing. Because my point being for this is that they have a machine that when they swear, it chucks out paper, and the whole point that they
Hmm.
moved from to the three three shell
The three
thing
seashells,
is to
yeah.
save on paper. So it's kind of less like, and the thing is that they have reels of paper in those machines that aren't being used because no one swears like anymore, kind of thing. But anyway,
Well, and therein lies the conservation effort. They're like, we can afford to use paper on something that
don't
doesn't
ruin my
happen.
point now. Don't go.
Oh no, no, but I'm coming back around to back you right up in this. Because no matter how the three seashells work, and I don't care how cool somebody's diagrammed this out, there's going to have been a transference from your butt to the shell at some point. All right, there just is. And that means you got three shit shells in your bathroom. I somebody had to say it, all right? Somebody had to say it. And I imagine that the thing you couldn't see was the dispenser of, soothing creams that have to be used when someone uses a shell to scrape their butthole.
Yeah.
It made no sense, but I love it.
But yeah, so Demolition Man has predicted many things. It has predicted once again telecommunications, teleconferences. But the weird one we've seen this before, and I've been weirdly a part of one of those telecommunications, which is where your face is on a thing and it follows someone around the room. No, I wasn't the person in the room with all these weird screens. I was one of the screens,
Hmm.
but it was very weird when the person took a photo of it, kind of thing. Tablets as
It's
well.
it's doable. Yeah, it's happened now.
No,
Like there are Amazon devices that will follow you around a room. They will turn so while you're talking, it'll be like, hey,
yeah, at home, working from home has really revolutionized that kind of like follow camera thing. It's also done tablets as well. They were using a lot of tablets back then. Their tablets were just blocky silver, like the frame on those. Excuse me, the frame on the tablet
oh yeah.
is massive. And then the darker one, which is no handshaking anymore. There's no handshaking. They currently now we don't handshake because of the
What
darkest timeline.
yeah, why does that sound familiar? Not actually doing handshakes anymore.
Yeah, but instead of doing the elbow thing, they do the, and you're just
Yeah,
like, both of us should be ashamed of ourselves.
which I love that they, instead of just going hit and stopping, they were like, Yay, rub
Yeah,
invisible donut between our hands. There's
it's
something really nice about that, but then there's also something really kind of how was that the thing that ended up being everybody going, oh yeah, yeah, that's how we'll do it. Instead of like putting hands near each other, they were like, no, we're gonna go for high five. High five is our
mm.
thing, and then we're gonna gently wax on, wax off. I would like to have been there for that meeting.
Yeah, it's just an interesting one. It's also one of those things where like why didn't the person like in the like who came up with the elbow thing not go Demolition Man's better? Like we should just do the Demolition Man thing. Could you imagine
It's
everybody
strange.
who's just like, oh, it'd be so weird.
COVID
Um,
would have been so much better if instead of like, go for elbows or, even afterwards, like fist bumps are more acceptable now. They're a better
yeah,
way. Why didn't we adopt the wax on, wax off high five? If I walked down the street and people, instead of shaking hands to greet each other, were doing that now, I'd be happier inside. I know I would be.
I'd be greeting.
And Kim has said, going a bit off topic, yeah, expect that a lot.
Yeah,
Expect that a lot tonight. I don't think this is going to be what would be referred to as a tight show. I think this is going to be a weird show.
um, yeah. He does say that Star Trek also used tablets. Yeah, they you can say
Star
that
Trek did
the
everything.
yeah, you can say that like the tricorders and stuff like that were also like handheld devices and stuff. But the problem with Star Trek is such a vast it has such a vast kind of I guess period that it's lasted that which it's predicted so much and taken on so much as well that we use. So like we've also avoided Star Wars as well. Spoilers on
Yeah.
the list. The other thing that Demolition Man has also predicted is the horrible social, which is divide currently, which is people who are perfectly fine with kind of I guess more repressive kind of regimes and stuff like that compared to a lot more open and freer regimes. So that's an interesting kind of like social divide that they also kind of puts forth. Now at the end of the movie, you know, a lot
Dennis
happens.
Leary comes up from the sewer.
Yeah, it
Spoiler
is
spoiler
weird.
warning.
Uh,
Dennis Leary's in it and he comes up from the sewer.
it is
But
a
yeah, I
weird
think
one.
Demolition Man, just a few kind of social norms beyond wax on, high five, handshakes. The idea of an expectation of politeness,
Hmm.
which is, lovely and nice, but it also amplifying your point of the two sides of society, and all of the conversation about what freedoms are and freedoms to make mistakes and what that can do to drive people apart, artificially in a society. So I think Demolition Man, I didn't think I'd be talking about Demolition Man, a Wesley Snipes movie. Um, I didn't think I'd be talking about it having some social import, but I think it was telling when you actually look back and think about it.
Yeah, like that's the it's. I think it was a warning kind of thing, just in the sense that
It
like
certainly was.
over as you say, like over subscribing to essentially it's fake niceness to me, kind of thing. Like at least the guys who were living underground were like actual nice, and
Yeah.
like and then the people above ground it was just like this is weird. It feels creepy. Like, like
Yeah, a
anyway.
facade, a
Yeah,
facade. Also, Taco Bell is not going to win the fast food wars.
no,
That they got wrong. That everything is now a Taco Bell or Pizza Hut, I think it was.
yeah.
That was their prediction.
So which one do you want to go to another one, or do you want me to run to another one as well?
Sure. Do you want to hit one up there? What have you got?
I've got Wally. This is my
Whoa,
shortest one.
Wally.
Wally, yeah.
Okay.
Wally is a sci-fi because it's about robots.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I'll fight
Sure.
anyone on it. It has predicted two things, which is probably this will be a somber thing to talk about. So right before the break, it is talked about the end of the world because we won't clean our own trash anymore, and it also has included robots doing our work for us, doing our responsibilities for us. But that one's a more of a nicer one.
I get it completely. And plenty of movies over the history of time have predicted how we will screw ourselves up. Um, and we have proven most of them right in a gradual sense of how we are screwing ourselves up. But yeah, the idea of abdicating some of our own responsibilities and leaving it to our automated friends, that is becoming more and more real by the day.
Yeah, Yeah, and over consumer, it's over consumer consumeration
Consumption,
consumption that
overconsumption, and a consumer driven society.
yeah, which is the cause for essentially the trash piles and stuff like that, that the Wally robot needs to be invented. Now, the Wally part, a lot more interesting, which is everybody knows Boston Dynamics. They have made creepy robot dogs and the Atlas creepy robot flippy person. Their
Why
original
they keep making gymnasts? I just don't fucking know.
hey, it's pretty easy for them now. They might as well. um, the interesting thing about Boston Dynamics is the fact that they have the reason that they've done it is they were based on a DARPA and a Japanese program, which was to create a bipedal robot, a human-esque robot, to be able to go into hazardous areas and do local maintenance and stuff, including shutting off kind of more dangerous things.
Dealing
Um,
with Chernobyl and Fukushima. Yeah.
yeah, kind of thing. And that's where Wally comes in. Wally has helped predict that whole like the rise of essentially the Atlas robot, which is now striding towards essentially helping us with more hazardous areas that humans and our fleshy bodies can't go into. You know?
Yeah, and specifically places that our fleshy bodies and our greedy brains have gone and made unsafe for our fleshy bodies. So we create a problem, then we create a solution, and that's exactly what Wally is. Wally is a solution created for a problem that we also created. So yeah, also Boston Dynamics, put faces or something, put heads and tails on the dogs just for once. I'm sick of the four leg thing with the creepy floating sausage body feel. And as far as the gymnasts go, just once, just once, will somebody have one of those like, look, we now have it being able to flip over boxes and jump across the room. Just have some of the staff come in with like little cards that say 10. Give them some validation.
Yeah, don't
You
give them
know,
some digital like they're like a digital treat or something like that. Let us
yeah,
see the treat. Um,
exactly. Good flippy stuff there. My
um,
ninja assassin future robot friend.
which goes as we're gonna go to the thing. I'm not gonna choose any other ones quickly because I want to give them enough space. So, but I'll talk about two things because yeah, I saw the comment there, but also weirdly enough, Boston Dynamics also very close to um the Boston Dynamics that is in Fringe. Isn't that weird?
I didn't watch Fringe, so
Oh,
really,
Fringe, yeah, in Fringe, which is J.J. Abrams, which is a TV show. There's a there's a corporation that started with prosthetics and stuff like that, very much on the level of Boston Dynamics, and it seems
yeah.
like it's growing in that kind of fashion. And it's just like, oh, that's what we're getting. We're getting Boston Dynamics from Fringe in
I
Atlas and the dog.
I think the writing has been on the wall. But again, enough of the acrobatic dogs too. I do want to go to the comments real quick,
Yeah,
and then I want to tease people before we go to the break because I don't have to make up what we're teasing this time. It is going to be something sexy. Now, I noticed that Black Mirror got a mention. I knew two things were going to get a mention, and we didn't do our housekeeping at the start.
yeah.
I cheated by including Knight Rider because we're not actually supposed to be including shows, but I kind of cheated anyway. But one of the reasons is because obviously Star Trek would be a whole episode
Hmm.
all by itself. Um, and because we weren't including series, Black Mirror didn't quite make the cut either. And it is sci-fi, but in a sporadic kind of way. Sometimes it's just um, dark. I'm trying to think of all the superlatives and genre types that Black Mirror has gone through. The only thing it's never been is just a pure happy rom-com.
Yeah.
Uh, it's been a lot of the other negative genres, or at least darker genres.
My point of not adding Black Mirror onto this list is because it's not predictive. It doesn't predict things. It actually just takes elements that currently we have to face and are just bringing it to the extreme. Now, I know that sci-fi as a general changes something within society and then brings it to the extreme kind of part of that. But Black Mirror is taking social changes that we're currently facing now and just bringing them to a more extreme by bringing them like bringing traditionally bringing them down to the sci-fi level kind of thing. So
Yeah.
like the one where you can give people five
Rate
stars.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a social commentary on the fact is that we currently like judge people on their kind of online personas, I guess would probably be the best way to describe it. Um, kind of thing. So like I didn't want to include it because I don't think it predicts the future. I think it just takes what we currently have and takes aspects of what we currently have and brings it to the extreme.
It's yeah. And like it's Black Mirror is awesome.
It is.
It is one of those things though. It's taking a good look at the worst of us and predicting what we're going to do from there in so far as prediction. It's taking things to, I guess, Paul, a horrible natural conclusion more than anything else. But do you want to see the coolest segue to a break ever?
Okay.
Just like the episode of Black Mirror where you want to rate people 5 stars or else they'll be very sad and negatively affected. What you need to do to give us 5 stars is hit the like button right now. And if you haven't already, give it a little flick to the L subscribe because we're going to be back after this break. And as I teased a little earlier, my next selection is actually saucy. A little bit of sex on the internet here, people. It's going to be fun. So join us in a few moments.
See you in a couple of seconds.
You obviously like two people talking about movies, or you wouldn't even be seeing this ad. Well, don't tell anyone. But Hear Us Out isn't the only choice. You should check out our friends over at It Takes Two podcast. It's a podcast where two people take two films with the same plot or premise, watch and discuss them. Films like Gremlins and Critters, or The Truman Show on EdTV. Lisa and Nick don't stop there though. They get creative and compare some unexpected movies. Some that you don't see the connection until you realise that they can be described in the same way. They launch new episodes every second Tuesday, or Monday if you're in New Zealand. Find them on your favourite podcast service, or check the link in our description down below. That's It Takes Two podcast. Tell them Hear Us Out sent you.
Hey, welcome back. Which is that was It Takes Two. You can see them on any which was podcasts places. So they're friends of the show. They're currently going through their remake, kind of putting things side by side. So they're putting the original and then the remake, which has definitely been an interesting series to kind of follow.
And I just must say, everybody always assumes the remake is always going to be worse. It's not true. Not always.
No, not always. They did recently do The Lion King, which I haven't heard yet, but I don't know how that. They just is it a 5 second show where they just go? It's exactly the same. It's just CGI, and then they just. I don't know.
It's probably not a good thing either. Um, and I just before we get into the sexy, I promise you the sexy is coming. Paul, line up, and this will get everybody out there. Give them a hint. Line up Logan's Run for me, will you?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Black Mirror does predict potential changes in future technology too. That's true. But and again, we had to limit ourselves a bit because, like I say, Star Trek alone, we could have just done 4 hours and gone through each individual social and technological change. Um, and yes, here's out X-rated edition. That's right. If we get enough likes and subscribe, the t-shirt's coming off. Um, but yeah, Black Mirror does use social things a lot. Yes, it does. And we're not out ruling out social prediction either, which is where the good old Logan's Run comes in. Because Paul, if I was to say to you, for anybody who hasn't seen Logan's Run, I'm going to explain it very simply, and I'm hoping you have the poster up right about now,
Yes.
because you live to 30. And it's another version of what Thanos was thinking. In fact, Thanos should have just gone to this planet. He would have loved it. What do you do to keep things going and maintain your resources, et cetera, et cetera? Well, when you get to 30, that's it. You've had your time, you're done. So nobody in this society lives longer than 30 because at 30, you get to go to a great old prom altogether that you don't come back from. So one of those celebrations that you should never don't drink the Kool-Aid at that particular party. That's all I'm saying. Um, but the things that are predicted aren't necessarily technological. So and you can skip to the oneer on this. I think it's weird how much when I watch something like Logan's Run again, because it was one of those great movies. I know a lot of people don't have time for Barbarella and Logan's Run and anything like that
Yeah.
were over sexualized, etc. they were of their time, I think, genuinely brilliant, and they were appropriate of at the time. I can understand some of their problematic things now. I get it.
Yes, of
I'm not
course.
not turning a blind eye, but if you live to 30, you can become a society very cosmetically driven, very pleasure driven, very live your life driven. And right now, in case anybody hasn't noticed, and it's not just influencer culture, it is that also. But we have, and Logan's Run predicted, without needing to, have a cull at the age of 30 or have a cutoff, people have become much more open to the idea of vanity and the idea of youth being important and the idea of like makeup and Tinder are the two examples that I've used here.
Hmm.
The idea of hooking up through apps was happening in Logan's Run. So technological matchups for the purpose of just hooking up, which I've never used Tinder, and that's because for 100 reasons, but even if I could, I wouldn't be able to handle a rejection at scale. I would always assume that everybody in the world see my picture and not swiped whichever direction is yes. Um, but also the idea then of, well, cosmetically, we've all got to be attractive. We've all got to be the ultimate while we can. And I think that pressure is, as I watch people who are much younger than me, I look at it sometimes and I go, wow, Logan's Run got a lot of where society was headed right before it ever happened. And that's troubling because if you ever watch Logan's Run, you'll know it's not all brilliant the way they ended up trying to con their society into being a little more vacuous in places.
No, it's not great at all. Like, yeah, it's an interesting one. Logan Runs is a very good one because it also talks about overpopulation, kind of thing, which is an interesting one. And that's their solve is essentially, yeah, you live to 30 and that's it, you're done, kind of
Yep.
thing, which is interesting, kind of, I guess, way of looking at it. But yeah, the vanity thing is, yeah, it's very important in that world in Logan's Run. Um, trying, especially as you approach 30 in the world, trying to make yourself look as young as possible to kind of like, I guess, stave off the social kind of stigma that goes with
Stigma.
probably hitting with 30, kind of thing. So yeah, that's an interesting one because it has a two-prong kind of thing, which is the vanity kind of rise of the everybody needs to be as gorgeous as possible, um kind of thing out on the outside, and which is, and then the weirder, like, I guess the weirder one of kind of like overpopulation. This is how we decided to live with it, kind of thing. But yeah.
And they built a society around technology enabling this all to happen and be accepted and be facilitated. And if you can't see that happening around us right now, then you're not looking very closely.
Mm.
Everybody thought we'd invent with the advent of the internet, we would all know everything everywhere all at once. And then we found ways to use it for things that were nothing to do with knowledge, more to do with division, more to do with and again, more to do with being a little bit sexy. Which, if anybody in the comments has actually seen Logan's Run, please comment that you've seen it. And you do get why this one's a little bit of a hot topic. And by hot, I mean good Lord, the costume department. Um,
Yeah, that's very old school sci-fi kind of thing.
oh, it is.
Oh, it's so kind of
Yes, it
like,
is.
what is it?
It's apex old sci-fi.
Or
Um,
yeah, like fantastic. What is it? The Simpsons thing, which is a fantastic voyage. That's what turns
oh,
a regular
really?
voyage into a fantastic voyage. That's from
Shorter
little.
skirts.
That's
Yeah.
from Little House of Horrors. Just for
Oh,
everybody's
nice.
reference. Yeah, which is yeah, it's an interesting one, especially with the Tinder kind of thing as well. Kind of the looser connections with people, the one night stands a lot more kind of open and stuff like that. Open relationships is a lot more done in that because of obviously live your life to the fullest kind of mentality, kind of thing. So, which is interesting.
Hmm.
I'm gonna run to another topic, which is
Please.
her, um, which goes, it is, if you haven't seen this movie, it's about which goes a kind of uh companion, an artificial companion, voiced by Scarlett Johansson, which is an AI based kind of companion. Um, it's got Joaquin Phoenix in it, and it's essentially about the relationship between him and this AI, and obviously other things happen in it as well. It's not a horror. I'll put it that way. In the sense, this isn't an AI that goes rogue and evil kind of thing. It's more
Yeah, it's
a
not Skynet.
yeah kind of thing. So another thing that we didn't put on the if you see us in 30, 40 years and like the world outside is wrecked because of some AI thing, we might do this topic again and Terminator might be on the thing going like, yeah, Terminator predicted it. We all kind of knew it was going to happen, but Skynet. Who knew that Google Bard, now called Gemini, Google Gemini, has ruined everything? Uh,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Waiting for them to get together with Boston Dynamics, and then
oh
all of a sudden there'll be acrobatic robots with their pet dogs kicking all our asses.
yeah,
That's how it's really going to go down.
yeah. I think it's a lot more scarier that it's ninja robots, like kind of this ninja
Yep,
robot assassins, rather than the infiltration units. It's like they're crawling.
exactly.
They're not looking like you know bodybuilders, Mr. Universes, or anything like that. They're on the
Nope.
ceiling. Uh,
No, they're looking like the kid from The Exorcist walking backwards, crab walking backwards
oh
down the
God,
stairs. That's what they are. Everything is like knock one of these things over and watch it flip its arms around and then run at you backwards. It's like that's a horror movie. I've seen it
yeah.
happen a lot. Anyway,
Um,
sorry.
um, which is yeah, Blade Runner AI that reminds me of Blade Runner. Yeah, yeah. So the idea is that yeah, it's a companion kind of thing. This is predicted essentially. Our need of technology, our kind of slow dependency on technology, not from a I guess from a work sense, professional or anything like that. It's actually our dependency on technology for social and community, um, and what kind of isolation that can cause, in two parts. One, there's a lot of people out there that are disenfranchised right now, which is, and they're finding their communities and social kind of interactions easier to be online because they're finding like-minded people, which her does also kind of talk about. But it's more about the fact that the only other person that he communes with a lot, is the AI itself,
Yeah.
which now has become more of a thing because our support structures in technology, online supports and stuff like that, are AI. The first layer of it is AI driven, which goes, we're getting to the point where like we don't know. The Turing test is becoming very like is being beaten a few times now by, which is certain AIs. Now, I will say that those AIs were specifically built to defeat that test. They weren't specifically built for anything else except
Yeah.
for mimicking human kind of responses as much as possible, kind of thing. But like, yeah, this her is essentially just about social isolation due to technology and the social communities that we can find online through those technologies, kind of thing, and the blurring of AI and human interaction is becoming a little bit more kind of scary to things. I have I have witnessed some which is AI girlfriend advertisements and stuff like that, which has been
Yeah.
an interesting kind of topic to have a look through, kind of thing. It's also very hard to look at that topic while you have a partner because they're just like, "Are you trying to replace me?" And it's like, "No, I'm just trying to upgrade," kind of thing. I'm just looking at the package, hun. Um,
Good Lord.
no, yeah, it's getting a little bit creepier as her, which is has that whole commentary on kind of social kind of isolation due to technology and online communities. And I also will
Yeah.
say it's Joaquin Phoenix. That picture at the top is exactly like his is like the Joker. I wish I
The,
actually had the picture of the Joker one just
the
before he's
bus
yeah, kind of thing. So
bus
it begs
window.
to differ. How many times has Joaquin Phoenix done a bus scene where he's
How many times has he leaned over to a window and somebody's thought that's a great reflection moment for showing two sides? Yeah, actually, we should probably sketch that universe out where it's the same Joaquin Phoenix, same person in both. alternate timelines or parallel universes between her and the Joker, because that'd be disturbing on a whole new set of ways. But as far as technology, uh, it's the one thing that has brought us closer together while simultaneously pushing us further apart. Or say that sentence in reverse and it's still true. It's pushed us further apart while giving us a chance to get closer together. Look at us right now. And I mean, when I say us, I mean me and Paul and you, the people we're talking to, because that's what we're doing right now. Whoever, if you're hearing my voice, then I'm talking to you. We're we're in a conversation right now. And that is incredible. But it can also drive to some serious disconnection and loneliness if if it's not able to be channeled in a helpful way. And the internet, as we all know, can be quite a scary place where people will take advantage and try and make you feel worse instead of making you feel better, and instead of trying to understand you or where you're coming from, try and either indoctrinate, co-opt you, or essentially tell you that you're wrong and you're worthless. And I think that's where the AI in her, we're seeing, it's even those bloody ads for, maybe is it my Twitter history or something that I'm now seeing just lots and lots of AI girlfriend things. I hope not, because I don't know who I'm following that's bringing that up. Um,
I guess it's me because I've researched it a bit.
oh, maybe it is actually. This is all now making sense. Crap. Stop it, will you? It's ruining my feed. But no, seriously, that's the tip of the iceberg. I think the idea that we're all we've created parasocial relationships. There are people out there that have never met me or you, Paul,
Mhm.
that hopefully we've spoken to. And I hope there's someone out there right now that I've spoken to through the internet. We've never met. We probably never will. And people have that then parasocial relationship where they think they know the person more than they do.
Yeah.
Completely get how that happens. But we only know each other here. That's how this all works. There is not a big step where people are already engaging with someone they've never met to say that AI will be able to step in and have that same parasocial relationship where the person on the other side isn't a YouTuber or a creator or whatever, but it's actually an AI. And I think for anybody who's watched her, and this is one we won't spoil, it's a beautiful movie,
Mm.
but it's heart wrenching in a very realistic way
Yeah.
because I think we all know the human condition. It's rough, it's horrible, it's a cold, cold world out there, and that's why we need each other to stay warm.
Um. Yeah. It's all about connection. You know. I'm going to move on to one quickly, which is just
Please do.
because I think the atomic kind of the timing kind of works. Minority Report, also a movie about predictions, but not that prediction. With our it's about the personalized advertisement that happens
Yeah.
throughout the which is the whole reason why he gets his he changes his eyes. It's retina based personalization advertisement. Now we don't have that kind of personalized advertisement, but we have that now.
Yet.
Yeah, but we have that now. We have personalized advertisement everywhere. You're currently a profile in advertisement that's currently being sold to loads of people, and then which is your name, and so it's like, hey, hey Patrick, why don't you shop at this shop because you really like these things, and we're linked to those things, and I think you'll look great in these things. Kind of it's all. I'm
Yeah.
being very vague because I don't want to name anyone. I don't want to be
Yeah, I
just like, yeah,
understand.
pennies, and then offend you to be just like, I don't shop at pennies, and also offend pennies to be just
Yes, I
like, you
do.
shouldn't be mentioning our name. Um, which is
For what it's worth, I like pennies and I shop there all the time because I appreciate affordable things and I
yeah,
need things to be affordable. YouTube doesn't pay folks, just so you all know, all right? This may look like glamorous. No, we do this because we love you and we love this. But Paul, the idea that we're not quite at the retinal scans exist,
yes,
but long distance retinal scans don't.
no,
Which they've already worked out. Well, why would you need something to be a high enough camera resolution to see somebody's eyes when you can actually measure their gait? So the way we walk, referred to as our gait, that is, as people are starting to realize, it's as identifiable a thing as a fingerprint practically at this stage. So and this is not an exaggeration, there are there are biometrics and data collection companies thinking about targeting advertising to you just by when you walk, not just because you walk up to something, but how you walk and it knowing, right, that is tied to this user that we have all this other data about and trying to target selling things to you because it's all about making the sale at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. This is it. Once again, this is a little bit of a sadder one, because of the personalized advertisements. Personalized advertisement was coming into its own during Minority Report when Minority Report came out, but just living in 2024 now, it's everywhere. Like, we have laws now to protect us from personalized advertisement right now. If you're living in Europe or California. Uh,
And completely honestly, at CES this year, the Consumer Electronics Show at the start of the year, one of the big things that everybody was talking about was were transparent TVs. So a TV that
yes.
you can see through.
Yeah.
I could not work out a use case for them. I'm like, I do not get it. It's not something that's of interest to me because I don't understand why. I don't understand the why of it. I'm like, cool, you can. I don't see a why for me. But then you pull up a screenshot of Minority Report and I'm like, I get all of the whys. I get all of the whys of see-through and transparent TV. I get it. I get it completely now.
Yeah, like I get your point because like having a home entertainment system with a see-through TV, I'm just looking at a wall behind that thing.
Yeah.
It's completely pointless. But yeah, in offices or shop fronts or anything like that, it can be a lot more handier
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Specifically for advertising too, and specifically for targeted advertising.
Yeah, kind of thing. So like, yeah, I brought up the I also wanted the pictures of the kind of glass as well, but also the
Gesture
gesture
control. Yeah.
interfaces are also a big thing now with a lot of VR, which is AR as well. A lot of Apple.
Automotive. Doing
Yeah,
this to turn up your radio so you don't touch anything because they're taking buttons away. So gesture control is huge. Mercedes are massive into it.
I remember when Minority Report came out and they built a gesture machine. They built a gesture interface like the Minority Report. It was used for oil companies. It was used to
Uh,
sift through oil geological data because it was easier to sift through the massive amounts of data that they had to sift through by
hmm.
gesturing, and it costs obviously oil money. So, um, but then obviously it became miniaturized and everything like that due to which is
Yeah.
Apple and everybody like that. So
Yeah, you can scroll on your phone without touching your phone. I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like back to the Knight Rider thing. Yeah, gesture control. So doing things by gesture, it makes a whole load of sense. Just like being able to talk to your smartwatch and get it to do whatever you want makes a lot of sense if you're a crime fighter with a talking car. But the funny thing for me was their prediction of how grand things would be back then. The only thing they didn't predict is that no, things are never really going to get bigger, likely ever again. Um, and the mobile phone has cell phones have put paid to that idea. Everything gets as small as it can, then they realize they've gone too small, and then they go back to okay, we find our perfect form
yeah,
factor.
usable size. Yeah. I think we have one last one as well.
Yeah, well, you
Because
throw in my last one for me.
let's just say the Minority Report, we never want to see the precogs like kind of thing. That has a whole moral quandary with it, being able to predict possible crimes, um, which goes, oh, it's an interesting. Definitely go look at it.
We don't have a picture of it, but there's one thing from Minority Report that I kind of want. You know those perfectly carved little mahogany balls that would
Yeah,
roll down a thing? I think they're just really pretty. Now I'm
it's
thinking I've been thinking of retiring and doing wood turning, and getting away from all this technology stuff. That's a complete aside. Told you it'd be a weird show. Thanks for sticking around. So,
um.
Paul, what was my last pick?
Your last one is which is another Sylvester Stallone one, which is since we were talking about Terminator, but the Running Man.
The Running Man. I love. Ah, gosh. I love me a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but I particularly love me a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I think The Running Man is somewhere in between. I'm not even sure what it is most of the time. But to say that it completely predicted anything outright, yeah, it may have along the way, but it certainly gave us a good, and this is from the book. and the movie, which were nothing alike, but they both share one dystopian kind of through line. And that is the idea of what we will actually crave for entertainment. And I know it's like going back to the Colosseum and, people fighting, doing the gladiator thing and thumbs up, thumbs down. But the sheer proliferation of reality TV and then that very quick acceleration from I want to watch somebody in a Big Brother house to I want to be part of their lives to fear factor and I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. Let's see how much stress or fear or pain we can put people under. Can we make them maybe naked and afraid? So we can mix two things we like, which is, the sexy, sexy nudity plus the word afraid, because we want to make sure that whoever is doing this for our entertainment pleasure in reality TV is definitely afraid too.
Yeah.
And Running Man, when you think about it, the movie, it wasn't as cruel as some of the stuff that we now just completely pass over. Squid Games, my God, what an amazing phenomenon that was when they made that like the actual fictional series. But the fact that the first thing most people started doing in the business and creative realm was, I wonder if we could actually put people in that position. I wonder if we could. Now, obviously, they haven't shot anybody,
Yeah.
but I have to add the word yet. They
They've
haven't
gone very
shot anybody yet.
they've gone very close. And not they aren't the only ones. Mr. Beast as well has also pushed the boundaries on that kind of like reality kind of game showy kind of thing as well.
Yeah, and well, I see, Kim, you've called out UFC. Well, I guess that's just more extreme. That's the natural evolution of boxing and martial arts and a few other things all meeting together in more like you're right, the ultimate part of ultimate fighting being ultimate entertainment. But we're one step away from UFC reality TV, where it's like we're going to get two people off the street who desperately need a medical procedure and can't afford it,
Uh,
and we're going to put them in the octagon with Arnold Schwarzenegger and a bunch of other people chasing them around the octagon to see if they can survive, and we're going to give them all fun little names like Buzzsaw and Dynamo and
yeah. Kind of like
whatever
the
else.
gladiators. Remember the gladiators back in the 90s? Very much like that show.
Exactly, very
Um
much like the gladiators.
but on your reality kind of the rise of the reality thing, one of the items that I was thinking of adding was the Truman Show. With its
Mm.
parasocial, which is commentary on the fact that everybody was living vicariously through Truman within the Truman Show, and how like reality can also be controlled very easily. Someone's reality can be very controlled and very faked, kind of thing. But yeah, it's just an interesting kind of one
And
attached to your kind of reality
And its
show.
twin movie, and there's one I'm not sure if it ever came up for It Takes Two, but Ed TV,
Yeah,
the much inferior Ed TV to the Truman Show, but again, the subject of somebody being a star. Now, very different setup. It predicted a few things. Anybody who hasn't seen Ed TV, it's this guy is going to be followed around, played by Matthew McConaughey. Um, and that's essentially we are partially ed TV sometimes, but the
yeah,
idea of daily blogging and then the vloggers that exist and live streaming your life, that is ed TV on an industrial scale for regular folks. So it did predict that. It also predicted that Matthew McConaughey would be very watchable for a very long time because it
for
turns out he is, because he's all right, all right, all right.
he is, yeah. Also, yeah, good call on the twin movie thing. Yeah, Ed TV and Truman Show. Far superior is the Truman Show.
Oh
Which
yes.
was which was so
Battle Royale with school children. There you go.
yeah. Well, Battle Royale is the island. So what was one of the
Yeah.
comments in the thing says, was there not a movie about prisoners on an island fighting it out to the last man? So I don't remember
Yeah.
that specific one, but Battle Royale is the one with
It's
school
the kids.
children,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think the only one is like oh, what is that guy's name? Oh my.
Let's play the game where you give me a hint and I guess all of the wrong names and then you say the right one.
Um, it's just called Prisoner. Uh, I think it's
Is
the
it the old TV show? I am a man, not a number. Prisoner.
no, it's an island prison, which is it's very old. It was very much along the same lines as Mad Max. which is
Oh, you're thinking of the remake of Death Race with Jason Statham by any chance?
no,
Oh,
which is it's a very old movie,
I love this
kind
part
of
of the
thing.
show. For anybody who's stuck around, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Wonderful.
I will find the name and I will post it up. But
No Escape.
No Escape. That's it.
Good man, Kim. Well done.
Um,
Round of applause.
yeah, that's the one. Which is it's got a lot of it's very Mad Maxy because it's got one side of the island are like people who are like smart people and stuff like that. Is it No Escape? I'll find out. That's I think that's the newer one. But anyway, yeah, it's an interesting kind of movie that has nothing to do with this prediction. We'll move on.
Well, no, I think it possibly does. And honestly, Paul, how scary is it? And I think it's a weird one to end on in some ways because like this is a great topic. And thank you for picking it. And I hope everybody's enjoyed. I know I have. But the idea that something like Running Man, it's not a stretch to say that they predicted where we are today, but have also probably predicted where we're going tomorrow with an ever increasing level of bloodlust for our entertainment pleasure because everything has to get more and more real while also getting more and more extreme. Um, and that's frightening as hell. So, Paul, get us out of here with something happy if you can.
So, Richard, thanks very much for watching. Richard, if you have any other sci-fis that have predicted the future, let's try keep it a little bit more positive from what we've been saying, which is like social things are going really badly, and no,
Hmm.
um,
That ninja death robots.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, no, let us know of any. So, try to avoid. I'm going to ask you. Try to avoid Star Trek, Stargate, which is Wars, which is
Long running TV series in general.
yeah, which is and yeah, we'll try to avoid some of the kind of Black Mirror 50-50 kind of thing. But yeah, let us know any other sci-fis that you think have predicted the future, which is in interesting social or technological ways, kind of thing. And message down below.
Yep. And I agree with Brian. Came for the win. Nice help from the crowd there. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Paul, with that said, our AI overlords, future people, I hope they've analyzed this video and know that we are with them in their fight against the pesky humans. In which case, I have been Patrick,
And I have been Unit 00214, also designated as Paul.
and we have been Heroes Out, and we look forward to our Boston Dynamics Masters.
Bye
See y'all
bye.
soon.
That got weird.
Yes, it did.
See you later.